You can see my spoon on LiveScope there. Look at that fish on that tree or cable. Right there, watch my spoon. Right there's my spoon. It's crazy, that fish comes out and looks at it. I usually got 2 or 3 different ways that I'll hit it. But you know, main thing's just getting it to hit the water right like that and let it go. And yeah, it'll go away. And then I'll let it hit the bottom and then I'll lift it. And once I lift it twice and I'll hit the bottom the 3rd time, then I'll jack it real hard. Just to see if they come to, a lot of times they'll follow it to the bottom. And I learn more with this LiveScope every time on how they react. And yep, ouch, that's a bad part about my spoon is its stinger hook stings. The LiveScope's really, you can tell I'm out of whack. The LiveScope's really helpful because you can see a lot of blobs go after it. And I initially don't do anything once I see a blob go after it, just to see what the reaction is. Got it, finally. Watch it on LiveScope. Good fish. Decent fish, I think. Oh, he's good fish, isn't he? Nice one. Don't you look at the gut on that sucker. Now, he's not hurt, I'm just gonna have to get the pliers on him. There we go. Finally, that's a lot of casting around. It's a lot of looking at bass on LiveScope, but I actually watched my spoon come up, go down, and then real hard, that fish come out and he swiped at it because I hooked him right here. But you know, that's a good 4-pounder. Big old fat fish. The bite's really just not on. And it might be later in the day that this happens, but lo and behold, if you do this all day long, you might be able to catch you an 18 to 20, 21 pound bag of nice ones like that. All right. Man, that took forever. That's the 2nd bite I actually had today, other than a walleye. This is like, this is my 7th dock I've hit. And in all the docks except 2, I've actually seen the LiveScope work and see the bass down there swimming around. These fish I actually saw on the other side of the slip, come over here on this side, spoon got to him, and whatever it was, made that fish swipe at my bait, and I got him. I hooked him under the chin. You don't know where or when it's gonna happen. The LiveScope said, hey, they're down there, don't be afraid to pitch there. A lot of times, mainly on boat dock and boat dock cables, you can generally bounce. Now this one ain't gonna come loose. I'm gonna have to go above that, get back out. You can generally bounce that weight of that spoon will come loose like that did. Persistence, so just sit there and bounce it enough, and a lot of times you'll get your spoon back. Not good for James when he makes royalties off spoons, but but I'll encourage you to buy my spoon because you will be able to get them back. You know, we're here in July, middle of July. Spoon bite should be really, really good, and it's not. Our water's a little dingier than normal. It's high. I don't know if the high water is hurting it more than the dingy water's hurting it, but it's just not real super good. It's good enough for me. If I was in a tournament right now, this is what I'd be doing. Because I catch 5, they're gonna be good fish. And if I get into a herd of them that ain't so good, I'm gonna have some fun. You're you know, just like any other technique or specialty item you like to throw, spoonjacking is no different. And the biggest mistake I see a lot of people make, and they have a poor hookup ratio, is they're not using a big enough rod, and they're not using a fast gear ratioed reel. And I don't see people making the mistake of using too light a line anymore. But I use a 7.6. Cashin built this rod. It's a fast, kind of a fast tip, but it's a heavy rod. And it's great because my impact when I get a bite is pretty sudden. It's, you know, it's a glorified flipping stick. But this has got the right tip for me to get the hook in the fish. A 20-pound maximum fluorocarbon to 25-pound maximum fluorocarbon is my line of choice. They're not line sensitive, so don't take the chance. And of course, a fast gear ratioed reel, 7 or faster. You want to hold plenty of line, because depending on where you get hung up, sometimes you don't have the right angle to bounce your spoon loose. And if you'll sit there long enough, you will bounce your spoon loose. And sometimes your spoon's not in position and you can't bounce it at all because your line's underneath a boat or something. When you're flipping that spoon too, you want your trajectory to be proper. You want your spoon to hit the water as it's going away from you, not a flat splash type situation, because the whole design of this spoon is that when it does hit the water, is that it falls away from you. And you can see it on the LiveScope. Jason's got some really good footage of this spoon as it falls away from me and it goes underneath that dock. And if you make a bad flip and your spoon is pointed in the wrong direction, one, it doesn't sink at the rate it's supposed to, and two, it won't go in the rearward direction.